If there's one city in Europe that feels like a living, breathing masterpiece, it's Budapest. A place where history whispers from castle walls, where the Danube shimmers under grand bridges, and where every street corner seems to hold a secret. I still remember the moment I first set foot in this magnificent city. There was something about Budapest that instantly felt magical. Maybe it was the air, laced with the scent of fresh chimney cakes, or the sight of trams gliding past elegant, time-worn buildings. Whatever it was, I knew right then that this was going to be a journey like no other. My first stop was the legendary Buda Castle. Sitting atop Castle Hill, it dominates the skyline, exuding a regal charm. As I made my way up, the cobbled streets beneath my feet felt like stepping into another era. The view from the top, breathtaking. Below me, the Danube stretched lazily, dividing the city into two distinct personalities. Buda, the quiet and historic heart, and Pest, the energetic modern soul. The castle's architecture alone was enough to leave me in awe, but the deeper you explore, the more it unveils hidden courtyards, majestic halls, and museums brimming with history. As I wandered through its corridor, I could almost hear the echoes of past kings and queens, their footsteps forever imprinted in time. A short walk from the castle led me to Fisherman's Bastion, a place that looks like it's been plucked straight from a fairy tale. With its wide turrets and archways, it felt almost too perfect to be real. Standing there, watching the city unfold below me, I couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder. The Hungarian Parliament building, majestic and golden in the sunlight, sat proudly across the river, while tiny boats left gentle ripples in the water. If there's one place to pause and truly take in the beauty of Budapest, this is it. Speaking of the Parliament building, no trip to Budapest is complete without seeing this architectural marvel up close. Walking along the Danube promenade, I found myself drawn to its intricate design, grand spires reaching towards the sky, and a facade so detailed it felt like a work of art. As I stepped inside for a guided tour, I was immediately enveloped in its opulence. Gold-plated ceilings, velvet-lined walls, and a sense of grandeur that few buildings in the world can match. But what truly struck me was the Hungarian crown jewels, displayed under strict security, shining as brightly as the city itself. As the sun began to set, I took a stroll across the chain bridge, one of the Budapest's most iconic landmarks. The way it connects Buda and Pest is more than just physical. It's symbolic, a reminder of how the city thrives on contrasts. The cool evening breeze carried the distant sound of street musicians, and as the bridge lights flickered to life, the entire city seemed to glow. This was a quiet romance in the air, the kind that makes you stop and appreciate where you are in the world. The next morning, I found myself outside Matthias Church, its colorful tiled roof shining under the soft morning light. Stepping inside, I was met with an explosion of color. Vibrant frescoes covering the walls, intricate patterns stretching to the high ceilings. The church has stood for centuries, witnessing coronations, battles, and restorations. It felt like a sacred vault of history, and standing there, surrounded by centuries of artistry, I couldn't help but feel humbled. For the best view of Budapest, Gellert Hill is the place to be. The hike to the top was worthy every step, because when I finally reached the Citadella, the city lay before me in all its glory. The river winding through it, the domes and spires of historic buildings standing proud, and beyond them the rolling hills that cradle Budapest. As I stood there, catching my breath, I realized this wasn't just a city, it was a story unfolding with every glance. Budapest isn't just about grandeur, it's about the resilience too. The Duhani Street Synagogue, the largest in Europe, stands as a testament to that. Walking through its halls, past the striking Moorish designs and the hauntingly beautiful Holocaust Memorial, I felt the weight of history. It was a moment of reflection, a reminder of how much this city has endured and yet continues to thrive with strength and spirit. By nightfall, I was ready to experience another side of Budapest, its famous ruined bars. Hidden within abandoned buildings, these bars are a mix of art, history, and a wild imagination. As I stepped into Simpla Kurt, the most famous of them all, I was met with a chaotic yet mesmerizing scene. Walls covered in eclectic graffiti, mismatched furniture, fairy lights tangled between old bicycles hanging from the ceiling. The energy was electric, and for a moment it felt like anything was possible in this city. For a change of pace, I spent my final day on Margaret Island, a peaceful oasis in the middle of the Danube. It was a world away from the bustling streets, a place where locals jogged along tree-lined paths, where medieval ruins whispered forgotten tales, and where the famous musical fountain danced to classical tunes. I sat by the water, watching the sun dip behind the skyline, and I knew I would return to Budapest one day, because some places don't just leave an impression, they leave a piece of themselves in your heart. Budapest isn't just a destination, it's an experience. It's the feeling of history beneath your feet, the taste of rich Hungarian goulash, the sight of golden lights reflecting on the Danube. It's a city that welcomes you with open arms and leaves you with stories to tell. And as I boarded my flight home, I knew one thing for certain. Budapest wasn't just a trip. It was a journey through time, beauty, and unforgettable moments.